G'day everyone, welcome to the Elite Punting Podcast, episode 3. We're on fire, 150% over the 3 weeks or 2 weeks of punting. And we're supposed to have Daine on here, or that little D Energy as we call him. But he's currently preoccupied at the moment, can't go too much into it. He's not well, put it that way. But we'll see, he might pop up later. But welcome again to the Masked Punter. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me on again. Hello, everybody. Hope you've had a winning weekend and a fine week and getting ready to win some more money.
Well, if our 3 followers follow the tips, they'd all be in front, mate. And I'll tell you, it's my pleasure to have you guys on here because, as you can see, I'm at 50%. You guys are up near 200. So I need to start lifting some weight, I think, this week with my tips. So hopefully I can get on the board and get a profit this week.
I think you might take it out this week. I had my go on the first week. The D had his go on the second week. You're due.
I'm due, mate. I'm due.
You're due. You're due. You're definitely
We're
due.
at Flemington. I've saved myself I'm about to hit the front of the clock tower. That's where you got to hit it. So,
The
all
old
right.
clock tower.
So not a bad week last week. Moonee Valley, a great race at Cox Plate. I reckon if you run it 10 times, you probably get 5 or 6 different winners. Just my opinion. I think the winner wins it a couple of times out of 10. Everything went right for it once it got in, one out, one back. But we'll have a look at that and go over that a little bit.
Couple of hard luck stories in that race. Very, very, a few actually.
Oh, mate, your tip, Dewis, was a huge run, and I think it wins the race or goes very, very close if you run it 10 times. I think even Fangirl, we went past him after the post, never really got a crack, never got ridden for longer than, a couple of pumps before I just changed direction. Mr. Brightside missed a kick. There's just going on, militarized, bullied around. From
A lot of
Mr.
hard luck
Brightside.
stories.
Yeah, a lot of hard luck stories, and the best ride won it. And you saw by that final finish, pushing the head down, got him the win. Very close to Mr. Brightside cleaning up for both you and Daine. And I actually ended up getting on it at the end of the day, based on the way the track was playing down. People on the inside were really doing well.
If only he'd not missed the start, what could have been?
Well, what I think is that if he jumps like he normally does, he's in front of Militarized to start. So that probably allows Militarized just to settle on the back of him, so he gets a better run. But it probably keeps Romantic Warrior. It forces him to go a bit harder and go forward, because I reckon he would have been stuck 3 wide. Or he has to then pull back and then come around him. And either way, I don't think he wins.
Well, that's the way they beat him last time, Romantic Warrior. They made him stay wide.
Yeah. And that's why it was such a big win by Gold Trip, but also that was in that Turnbull race, but also the horse that got second. I keep forgetting its name. It's got that big name that ran second in the Caulfield Cup as well, but it was 3 and 4 wide the journey in that Turnbull race, I'm pretty sure. What was it called?
I'm trying to think of it. It wasn't Bow and Declare. It was that other one. It's that English one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Spencer was on it.
Yeah.
It starts with W as well. I've got it here.
My horse beat it without a fight, but can't think of it.
Actually, it's not even running in the Melbourne Cup.
No, a few have been pulled out. We're down to 30 now.
Well, yeah, 29, but more Felons is in the cup.
Yes, I thought he'd get a run. And I think Jamie Carr's booked to ride him too.
Yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll do a Melbourne Cup special on Sunday afternoon, so we'll jump on and go through every horse and put it up there for the YouTube audience to have a look. And We're getting a few more views every day.
Trying to get a few more followers, and
yeah. Well,
see how we
if
go.
you win, if people find punters that are tipping winners and tipping profits, they generally want to know. I know I do.
Well, we're good on the first week. I wasn't so good on the second, but anyhow.
Still turned a profit overall 5%.
Yeah, because Daine, the D got us that, like me and you were in the red, mate. Come on, let's look at it like 250 outlay. I think I was 190 back, so I lost 60. So the D covered me losses.
You covered your losses, and I lost even more. I think I lost 127 or something. So,
yeah, that's what.
But anyway,
this week
we've got our tips. So we're tipping quite a lot this week, aren't we?
Yeah, it's wide open this week. Like, there's not like normally on a Saturday we've got like a couple of standout favourites that you can anchor in stuff, and that way you can go a bit and not have as many bets. But this week's just it's wide open.
It's great. It's great for the punter. You're going to get some good odds about some things, and some people are going to win big this week. But there'll be also lots of hard luck stories as well, as there always is on Derby Day. It's never the easiest day, but we're going to have a crack. So I've got just looking at the sports bet account. We've got race 1. Now you've tipped
Brave Mead. Well, Brave Mead's the horse that I tipped last time on the Caulfield Cup Day. For our followers that might remember that he went around at about the same price, over 1,400. He got hemmed away and he didn't get out till late and showed a good turn of foot and got there by 0.8 of a length. I don't think 200 metres going up, the extra 200 will worry him. Interesting to note that Mark Zara jumped off Brave Mead to ride the second horse, Heeman. But haven't lost anything in the jockey from the UK and Jamie Spencer jumping on board. So I think I'll stick with him. I think he might be taking out the first to give us a little bit of a good kitty to continue on with the day.
Well, yeah, I don't think barriers will play too much of an importance. It's not the biggest field of the day, field of 9. We'll look at the speed map. So Dave Waterhouse, expect her with Tim Clark aboard will go probably to the lead. You've got Ursa, who I'm giving a big chance in the race. It's going to settle right up there on the fence. And Brave Mead's got the tactical speed to get across and find a position. So not too sure about where He-Man sits. No info there, but there's good even speed in this race, so that it should be run at everything should get its chance, you would hope.
It should. The only worry is the 1,600 shoot, where they've only got a run of about it's 300 metres before they start to sweep around the corner, which sweeps them all the way from the 1,200, 600. I don't think we'll be perhaps very wide in the small field. I think we want to sit in the big wide on the rail line.
You were cutting out there a bit, buddy, but so they've got 300 metres. Luckily, it's not a huge field, but if there's a bit of pressure early, there's not much we can do.
No, I don't know. One of that speed, who the speed map say was going to lead?
It said probably Kaizad number 3 because Dave Waterhouse, Tim Clark aboard, and the other one is Critique, another Gay Waterhouse with Opie Possum.
Which the 9 might also push up as well, just in time. It's got a habit of being up there on the pace or leading. So there's 3 of them vying for the lead. Your tip, Ursa. It should get a lovely run in behind. I think Brave Mead slots outside it.
Oh. Yeah, well, hopefully they both get a good run in transit, and you've got Brave Mead, $50 to win, bet back second or third promo. So is that on Ned's, is it?
It's you can take it on Neds, or you can also do it on Sportsbet, whatever tickles your fancy, I guess. I guess it's to each punter's own, but yeah, I usually use Neds, but Sportsbet's good for it too.
Well, I'm tipping, number 7 Ursa, John Allen aboard. We've got Hayes, the Hayes stable. They've been doing really, really well, I felt. And I think that they've got a really good stable. And yeah, so Ben, Will, and JD Hayes. I am drawn to a Lonhro horse, as you can see in my background.
Mm-hmm.
So Lonhro side, this out of Arato. 4 starts, 1 win, 1 second. It's maiden win at Ballarat at 1 by 9 lengths.
Oh, yeah. 9 lengths, good margin for a maiden, but what I was really impressed with for your horse was its last run, the Mojave Desert. Yeah, it's definitely an improver for this race and one to watch.
Yeah. And it's got the 55 on it, so it's got a bit of a weight pull on the others. We'll probably need it. Obviously, McDonald on the Waller horse, influential. Waller's got a really good record in this race. It was gelded after the winter, out of the autumn sun. So probably being gelded, you'd expect that it's going to settle and it'll run out the distance. And it's travelled everywhere. So it's run at Warwick Farm, the Sunshine Coast, Eagle Farm, Kembla Grange, trained barrier trial at Rose Hill. We can't tip them all, but yeah, I like Brave Mead. I had it in a multi the other week, in a 2-leg multi that got up just a little bit that I had. And Ursa, I just think at a bit of odds could be something to do something in this race.
Well, the form line off Brave Mead when he ran second to Mahaba, 2 starts back, that set him up to win that race. And uncannily, I had Mahaba in one of my tips last week, I think, which, well, only got beaten by one better horse on the day, and that was Archo Nero. But looking at yours, and the reason why I'm impressed with that last run to Mojave Desert is that's the horse that chased down Griff. If you remember, Griff was the roughie in that group race at I think it was Caulfield. Was it Caulfield?
Yeah.
I think it was Caulfield. That's a big run coming back to this kind of race. Yeah, he's definitely a good chance at that price to bump my little favourite Brave Mead off.
Well, it ties in really well, but we'll move on to the second race. So we've got the Archer Stakes. Now, I've got the Melbourne Cup order of entry.
Winner through to the Cup.
None of these horses are qualified, so I'll get that up for us to have a look at.
I think mostly Cloudy's looking to win this to get in, I believe. I think if it wins, it might get in. Is that right?
It could. So we get Ladies Man's at number 25, Athabascan at 26, United Nations at 27, Carlapore at 28, and Mostly Cloudy at 29. So
there you go.
They're all fighting to get in the race.
They're all fighting.
I think if they win, they jump ahead of the winner jumps ahead of Interpretation, and the Derby winner has the option of running as well, but they usually don't. So the bottom 2 are a chance of missing out. But
which would be a shame from Interpretation on that point, considering how well he had to fight to win that Bendigo Cup. I'm not saying I don't rate him a chance in the Cup, but just be shame for the Connections to lose their spot after taking on all those horses to win the Bendigo Cup.
Yeah, well, I look at a couple of the horses. There's not too many. Actually, it's another going to be a really good Melbourne couple, I think. There's not going to be too many horses here that don't deserve their place.
Exactly.
Like often you'll get 3 or 4 horses that you're like, why are they running this thing? You know what I mean? But I think there's more discussions happening with to try and make the quality of the race better as well, where they literally talk to Connection and say, "Are you sure you want to run this thing?" Because I think there was a discussion had regarding what's it, Waller's horse that won the I forgot his name. He's just been a bit disappointing, and they've pulled him out. I was backing him last week in the Caulfield Cup, but they've pulled him out, and quite a few others have surprisingly been pulled out that were qualified. So
interesting to note, though, mostly Cloudy not past its first elimination clause. Like, I don't know the rules on that, but if it wins this race on Saturday, like, does that qualify it to run, even though it didn't pass the first elimination clause?
I'm not sure, mate. I'd say it would run if it wins because it's the Archer is an automatic qualifier, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is an automatic qualifier. I just don't understand why, if it didn't pass the first elimination clause, why it's still on the list. But oh, they have their reasons, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's a big chance in this race too. I actually give the 3, the 4, and the 5. I think are the ones that are going to fight it out.
Well, I kind of gave it a miss only because I did put a tip in it. If I had to go, I think I'd either be on Mostly Cloudy or Ladies Man. I don't know why. I don't think Athabaskan can. Yeah, he might, but he was in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, but a disappointing run. I don't think he entitles to be the favourite, to be honest, and that's why he's getting out in the market. People are waking up to that fact.
Yeah, he's 250, and he's got the form line. Yeah, he's drifted out a little bit. The Moonee Valley Cup, he's finished 2 lengths behind them. It was I thought it was a really good edition of the race. It was a close race. The winner did well, but probably had the best run of the race. Bow and Declare was 3 wide. Did very well to finish second and had to take off. But Athabaskan, it sort of had a bit of a flat spot. It was up there, then dropped out and sort of just ground to the line. Yeah, I didn't like the run. I didn't like its run in the Bart Cummings either.
That's what worries me, the fact that it's got that flat spot. And I know what it's run to: Future History, First Mortal, Cleveland, and Vow and Declare. And it's beaten a couple of, average name horses in Serpentine. I shouldn't say they're average. I wouldn't mind owning a share, but Serpentine and Air Bear, or whatever it is, Abu, whatever you want to pronounce it. Yeah, just that flat spot concerns me, and these couple of 6.
It's also it was sort of down in the weights in those races, so it's come up in the weights. It's gone up to 57 and 56 and a half running in Melbourne. So it's put 2 together back to back in Sydney, extra 100 metres at Melbourne. Yeah, look, it might just, with this small field, it might just get the perfect run and qualify.
Yeah, it might make me look like put mud on my mouth, but
it's mostly Cloudy beat at home in the Bart Cummings. It actually really found the line well in a pretty big field. So you'd think that it's got a chance. United Nations was ridden on the speed in the Caulfield Cup. It was sort of dropping out, but it kept fighting to the line and also copped some interference as well. But other horses were going better than it, that were sweeping around it, but it did get impacted. I think it's a chance in this race.
Big chance, because it ran second to Military Mission, United Nations, so
yeah,
that's no easy feat.
Out of Galileo, Jamie Spencer, he's ridden a heap of those. And it's got the miles in its leg. It's since August, it's run, 12,500 meters.
And the old Bart Cummings saying, the horse has got to have 10,000 meters on it to win a Melbourne Cup minimum.
It's one to keep an eye on. Whereas mostly cloudy since August. Actually, very similar profiles, isn't it? They're really putting the miles into these horses now. Remember, they'd all be running in, starting off at 1,400 and just gradually working their way up over about 4 or 5 runs. Not these English stayers. They give them a staying race, freshen them up for a couple of weeks, give them another one, give them another.
And speaking of English stayers, like Vauban, how good was his trial on Tuesday? Just wow. Blistering last 400, but I guess we'll talk about that on the Sunday special.
We'll talk about that on the Sunday, so I'll let you lead on Vauban. I've watched a lot of his races. He's definitely got something in there. He's definitely got he's got the sprint. He's got the brilliance to win a Melbourne Cup.
He does, and it brings it back to.
And he runs over hurdles as well, doesn't he?
He does, and it brings it back to what the Big D said. He said it's going to be probably the fastest run cup we've ever seen in the history of the Melbourne Cup. And that's a big call, but I can see why he called it, because Vauban pretty safely say he's going to lead, and he ain't going to mess around. But
well, this ladies man, so it's run third over 3,200.
It has. It's a Hastings horse, and it won its Group 1 last start over there. I can't remember the name of the race. It was 14th of last month.
Yeah.
Beat Platinum Vader, who was a roughie in the race, but that race was impressive over the Cox Plate distance there in Hastings.
Yeah, it's heavily weighted. It's given 3 kilos to Carla Paul.
It is, but it carried 59 and it won its Group 1 last start over there at Hastings, so it's got no worries about carrying the weight. It's just, what's it in terms of Australian staying ranks to theirs? Where's it sit? Is it sitting miles in front of these, or is it sitting on par? If it's sitting on par, that weight's going to hurt. If it's not, then it might put them to bed.
Carla Paul's got the Newcastle Cup run, then so it's run in behind Spirit Ridge a couple of times, behind Just Fine, and then third to Land Legend in Cleveland, who won the Moonee Valley Cup. So you can tie all these horses into the right form lines, and when you do it, the favourite just sort of you've got to sit him at number 5.
Well, you do. Just Fine won the Metrop. That's the race he ran third to him in. And like you said, Cleveland won the Moonee Valley Cup. He hasn't been that far away. 4.5 lengths and 3 lengths respectively. Yeah, definitely a danger, and especially down and weight on the last run at Randwick behind Cleveland and Land Legend. So he had a good chance to.
I don't know much about Jan Tia Rain. It's out of Saxon Warrior, Japanese horse, and Dance Troop, the mare from Great Britain. Never been over these distances by the look of it. It's been given a more Australian type preparation for a staying race. 3 times over the mile, twice over the 2,000, now up to the 25, and slowly getting closer and closer and closer to a win.
Slowly. It's with Waller, and you never underestimate Waller. He doesn't take them on unless he thinks they've got something good there in their gene. But I'd safely say I could rule a line through him. I prefer to watch him go around, actually.
Yeah, and then we've got this English stayer called Speak, Mike Moroney horse, third up. First up at Flemington over 1800s, then went to Cranbourne, beaten by Flash Mary. It's a bit of a query runner, but rightfully the outsider of the field. So look, I'm with mostly cloudy, but I can make a case for the top 5, especially numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5. But Athabasca will probably come out and win and make us sort of stick, but
probably, and I turn around and said I don't see him winning this race. I'm leaning with you at mostly cloudy, but I've got a big watch on ladies, man.
Yeah, well, the winner hopefully is going to add, I backed Shocking in the same race a few years ago, or many years ago now, I think 2008 or something. And then backed it again in the Melbourne Cup and sat 3 wide and won. And that was a big year, big first 4 that year, and a big trifecta for me as well. And haven't had a really big one since, to be honest. But race 3, the Firthy Sprint. So hopefully, I find it sometimes you've got to be careful. I've got a bet on here, but things may change after we watch the first couple of races to see how the inside and outside's playing. They might split up. They might go 2 sides. They might all run down the middle. We don't know how they're going to run. Daine's picked Lempika at 11-1, which has won 3 on the trot. The speed maps on this one as well. Have you got a pick in the race?
I believe I may have something. I think it's in the place multi. I think I took Rose Quartz to place. That's the first leg of me place multi. I couldn't really settle on a winner of the race because I think there's a lot of open chances in this, including the D's, Lempicker. Queen of the Ball's not out of it. Red Card, class horse for Godolphin. My one I put for a place, Rose Quartz, who you know should be there. It's just a wide open race.
You got speed all as you do in a sprint, but all through the middle, you've got Starlight Scope south of Houston. I think south of Houston's an interesting runner as well. I think H2O with you talk about front running jockeys. There's obviously Tim Clark. He's very good on them.
In the world.
But Linda Meach knows how to get one to the front and rate it to a win. I can tell you that much. For those who like the female jockeys, or just the jockeys as we call them these days.
The jocks?
They're just jocks. H2O's also got the right sort of form for Flemington. And Lempika, 3 in a row, Hypothetical, has been running well.
I don't want to turn anyone off anything in regards to like the D's, Lempicker, or anything that you've got. That's why I settled on a place in the race because it's wide open. But Rosa Quartz, did you see its run last start? Went second to She Dances, who we all know what She Dances can do.
Yeah, well, it's a star on the way up. She Dances, and I had that in my in another multi as well, and you had that in your multi.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't always put all my tips up for everyone to see. Sometimes you just, you don't gamble too responsibly, and you just put bets on the run as well. But
brings a saying to mind that you had there, got you win some, you lose more. Well, my motto is you win more. You don't lose much and win more. Doesn't always work.
Small outlay, big return.
Exactly. But yeah, like you said, she dances a good up and coming horse. The reason why I put Rose Quartz in is because of that run. But the only thing that concerns me with her is she's one for nowhere down the straight, Flemington Straight. Distance doesn't bother her, but that one for nowhere down the straight, could that be the undoing? I don't know. Time will tell.
She ran second. It says here at Flemington, so not over a different distance. So over 1200, she ran second at Flemington, beaten a length in an open,
Oh, there you go. Might have
beaten
been
by
down the
Snapper.
straight.
So and she ran fourth over 1,000 meters, beaten a length and a half, beaten by Ashford Street New Long Command.
Which
Was she seems to be goes pretty well at Caulfield.
yeah, obviously going all right at Flemington without winning down the straight, but yeah.
I
I
think with the barrier, she gets every chance, and I think with the speed, the reason I went for her is her consistency and the fact that there's going to be a lot of speed on. I expect her to get us to sort of position up, get us sit probably just off midfield, and then to just come into the race and finish it off, hopefully over the top as they can do. But I'm just expecting there's just going to be a lot of front runners in this race.
There is, and again, like we said, it's going to turn out to be the play of the track. Like, we're going to get to see in the first two. Okay, we're not going to see from the 600 where the corner is back up the chute for the straight. We're not going to see how that plays, but we're going to see how the track plays from the 600 around the bend and down the straight and where they're coming from. And that may indicate to us where they're going to sit. So, yeah, you're right. We could change our minds by race 3, but at this stage, I'm with Rose Quartz, at least the place.
So Lem Pika, Blake McDougall's is 4 from 4 on her. She's won her last 3. 2 over benchmark 70 over 1,000, then stepped up to 1,100 and just outlasted to beat Hypothetical, who's in this race as well. Hypothetical carried 57. She carried 56. She's going to carry one. There's a sort of 2 kilo turnaround to Hypothetical in this race, and they're going to be running together in the running. So the Flemington 2 starts for nothing. She's a first up horse who'd never won second up and never won third up, and has done that the last 2. So this preparation, the fact that she's gone and she's won second up, she's gone and she's won third up when she's never done that previously, means you can't rule out anything with this horse. I think she'll be there at the 100 meters. I'm just not sure she'll be there at the end. I like the horse. I nearly went with Lampika, and then I
love the D. I love him to bits, and I want to see his tip get up. But and I agree with you on all the stats. But the only 2 stats that worry me with Lempicker is the 2 starts of the track and distance for nowhere, and the 7 starts of the distance for only 2 wins.
Yeah,
that concerns me with it. Other than that, it ticks all the right boxes with everything else.
Well, for the Little D Energy backers, he's tipping the into Lampika, and he tipped us in. He didn't lose last week. We lost the win bet on Mr. Brightside, but he did get the place up, so that was good. Red Card's another one. Had a bred from Ribchester, an Irish horse. He's a prolific winner. 4th up, never lost 4th up, so it's a horse that's just ultra consistent. Won first up, brought it down to Melbourne, 2 runs at Caulfield, not too far off him.
Yeah,
but fair bit behind She Dances and Rose Quartz, though, 3.5 lengths off.
But what's the weight swing on that? Like, he's got 56 now.
He's down a kilo.
Yeah, she's got 56 where Rose Quartz had what in that race?
She had 56 as well, and she's gone. So they're both
56.
gone down a kilo. So
Yeah, so they're evenly matched again. One from gate 1, one from gate 11. Yeah, no, that doesn't matter down the straight, but
yeah,
yeah, I just can't see Red Card making up those few lengths to worry Rose Quartz. But definitely will be there. But yeah, again, like I said, open race.
H2O's won over the track and distance in November last year. So similar time of year. Is it ready to do it again? Finished second behind Grey River at Morfordville before finishing fifth behind Lempika. But carried 59 kilos, so it's dropped 2 kilos. It's got to be a chance in this, but it's another one that's going to be right on the pace or trying to lead. It's all just going to come down to how much pressure is there and who gets the run through. I've gone with something that can run on in this. And we both agree Rose Quartz is a very good place chance, and it's due for a win. It's really due for a win.
It is due, it's overdue, but again, and the D comes along into mind when he says this, like, prolific place winner, place getter, meaning they're not really got that will to win, but she may turn it around, but hence why she's in the multi and not one of me win bets.
Well, Superimpose was the same, wasn't it? Used to like running beside horses. But he won some good races.
Oh, didn't he? Especially at Eagle Farm, or was it Eagle Farm when he come from 9 on last, or was it Randwick? It's one of those races.
Randwick, they were in the Epsons. I think that was Rough Habit at Eagle Farm.
Yeah, Rough Habit, Stylish Century, Superimpose, all them running together. Yeah, they were the days.
Yeah. I was on Super when he was in second in the Melbourne Cup, and I was on him when he won the Cox Plate. Let's Alot ran second and got disqualified or dropped back to fifth place.
But ended up coming up and winning a Melbourne Cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it won the Melbourne Cup the year before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a bit. I live in the past, mate. I live in the past. So look, we've got
past stories.
Race 4. You've got a tip in this as well. It's our time for the place melody.
Yeah, a horse that's hard to gauge at times, but I've got to forgive its bad effort. Well, I wouldn't call it a bad effort at Randwick. I got held up. It ran behind a really good horse that you tipped last week, and I Am Me that ran in the race with Imperatriz. So I got to rule a line through that. Before that, ran to Star Patrol, who again is another good horse over the sprint, as well as King of Sparta. Bidu Magawa, who ran in a good race only a couple of weeks ago or last week.
It's consistent horse in Magawa.
It's consistent, so I'm thinking at that price, good value for the place and the place multi, but again, it's another one of these races that's wide open.
Well, I've stayed out of race 4. I was interested in it, and I still may have a bet tomorrow. I've got I like Chain of Lightning. It was a prolific winner early, and they brought it through the grades. It did quite well. Running into big races and sort of running third, running fourth. Just kept there. They took it to Queensland, ran fourth in the big mares race there, ran sixth in the Stradbroke, I think, over 1400. I won't think about it. Fourth in the Group 1 won by Ruthless Daine, which was a big odds. Ruthless Daine ran 4th there, and 9th to Imperatriz and Bella Nipotina in March. So it's running all the big races, this horse.
Yeah, and its last start to Espiona and Uncommon James was huge as well.
Yeah, it just kept going, and that was first up. So second up, it's had 3 starts for 2 wins. So she's probably the one that at $8.50, I don't mind her at all. We'll quickly look at the speed map. General Bow's always there, or always thereabouts. Not as much speed in this race, which means Crosshaven will go forward from out there as well.
I think Najim Sahal will probably end up leading that race.
Yeah. Najim is definitely the leader, and Chain of Lightning. I think I backed Bravina in this race last year, and she was very disappointing, or maybe around a place or something. Spacewalk. A lot of people were backing it to win last start, and it should have won, and was beaten by the I think the Adelaide horse that led all the way. It fought back and won. A lot of chance, very open race yet again. You're getting good odds about a lot of good chances. Your pick, It's Our Time, coming from the outside, but it doesn't really matter.
It should slot in, depending on where they run. If they run on the outside, then it's really drawing the rail. But if they run in the middle, it should slot in there. It'll be poking its nose through at the business end where it counts. But yeah, like I said, rule a line through that 0. That just wasn't that horse.
It's a good horse. It's actually a really good field in the Rising Fast.
Loves the
All
straight.
Right, race 5. We move to the Wakeful. So the lead up to the Oaks, and we've got a favourite in number 1, Zadozi. Do you have a place? No, you don't have any.
First leg of the win multi in this.
Conasana.
Yeah. I tossed up between 2. I tossed up, merely between 3. I tossed up between it, Zadozi, and Harlow Miss. Ended up settling on this one because of its last run. I don't know if you remember the race, but Tropical Squall was Gay Waterhouse's horse that led the race. That she said couldn't be beaten, and the Autumn Angel got off its back and after a fast pace and went straight on by, but this horse ran 4th in that race, and it was working home pretty well. And the start before that, it got up at Moonee Valley and beat Wings of Song. I know this is probably, I don't know if hard or maybe on par with its last race, but I couldn't have 245 about Zardozi. 440 looked pretty juicy on Kasana.
Yeah, well, if you look at the Flemington run, 3 runs back over 1800, it's Harlow Mist has beaten it close. So you'd have to think that the Flemington track's going to be better for it than Caulfield. They sort of dropped it. It won that benchmark 64 at Moonee Valley. A much easier race, carried a bit of weight, and was just too classy for them there.
Most definitely.
And they rode it like it was the best horse in the race.
And the difference there was Harlow Miss had 56 and Kansana had 57 on that day. And this time they're both down to 55. So there's a kilo difference. Whether that makes a little bit of a difference, just might.
I just I like the breeding of Harlow Mist. It's just bred to stay all day. And yeah, I think and John Sargent's not a bad trainer of stayers. It's had the win at Flemington, which is good for a Sydney horse. It's they just kept it ticking over. It's been all around, so it's bomb-proof. It's gone from Goulburn to Scone to Flemington back to Randwick, coming back to Flemington again, the scene of the crime last time. Gets a run from barrier 1, and it's going to be on the pace, not too much speed in the race. You'd think Amazonian Lass, being a Gay Waterhouse, will put itself right on the speed. Zadosi's going to have to work a little bit from out there, so you think it's going to settle back. And Harlow Mist is just going to be in a perfect spot and be hitting the front. Conisana, I don't know if it'll sit as close. I think it'll sit midfield and get a position, maybe 2 or 3 back, 1 out. And I think it'll be the first thing challenging Harlow Mist. And I think Zadosi's the one that's going to have to come right down the outside. And I just don't know if it's going to be able to catch him unless there's a lot of jockeying for positions and they put more speed into this race than there appears to be. Like there's a fair bit of speed in it, but yeah,
there is. And again, another thing that led me on to Kasana was the fact that it's had a go at the distance. Where you look at a lot of these and they haven't. Yeah, okay, fair enough. It was unplaced at the distance, but it's been over it, and that could make a difference in a race like this.
Beaten 2 lengths behind Tropical Squall is probably going to be, I think, start very short in the Oaks. Autumn Angel, I actually had that in the multi with Brave Mead, and I just think I only had it for the place though, but I did win.
Yeah, I backed it for the win. The D was on the Tropical Squall. I was on the Autumn Angel. I tried to convince him to go over, but he said no. He trusted Gay. I said to him, that'll be the mistake of your life. It turned out that way.
There before, remember all that sass?
Yeah, he did. And the reason why I went on Autumn Angel that day was because I've got a share in an Autumn Sun filly that's going to race soon by Shifty Thinker.
Wow.
So I had to stick with the Autumn Sun progeny, and it proved to be okay. And I know Kasana's probably no Autumn Sun prodigy, but done deal. They're not a bad horse.
So we've got I haven't put Daine's bets up yet on the group, but he did back. What else has he backed? He's got something in the Coolmore, I'm sure, which we'll move on to quickly.
He's only gone 3 bets the day this week. I think there's yeah, but he's done like 250 each ways, I think, and then 1 solid outright. He's pretty confident, I think. I think he thinks he's going to get us this week.
Well, I've actually gone with him on Stepardi. I think we were both taking that 1,400 metre race that lead up to the Guineas. He had no right to win that and just did not shirk the task and won.
You guys like Stepardi. I'm a Stepardi fan, but
I'm back in distance.
I know he's back in distance, but geez, this race has got a lot of quality in it. You got two Everest runners to start with. Then you got the likes of Vate, who's been running around with him, and
V8, yep.
I think they actually call him Vate, mate. In the call, a lot of people call him V8, but I think the callers called him Vate. Yeah, we should have a little bit on that one as a side hustle. But yeah, I like Stepardi, and I've been with, and this is where shame the D wasn't on. We'd be having an argument about it right now, but I do like him, but I'm just not sure he's up to the likes of Cylinder and Shinzo, who have proven their worth by running on the Everest. Yeah.
I really like this trainer, Paul Pruska. Or Pruska. I usually say Pruska. But
Yeah, Pruska.
He gets so many winners at Bendigo and Ballarat and all the all the country circuit in Victoria.
He's finally getting his limelight in town with a really good horse.
I just think from gate one, Stepardi gets on the speed. He's two from two at the track and distance. I know he's coming back, but plenty have done it before. He's got John Allen on board, who's a very, very good jockey. I went and watched the Everest again, and Shinzo did his backers no shame at all. He had him, and there was a couple of other ones. The mare that won last week, she had no luck as well. The other Waller runner. But yeah, Shinzo wasn't a bad run against the older horses.
Like I said, I like Stepardi, but I just think he's up against a lot of class this time, and yeah, Griff and Vate, yeah, they're up there, but none of these I've seen running didn't get a slot on the Everest, and you got the best of the best sprinters in the Everest running around there. It's gonna be a tough ask. He's a good horse. He's up to it. But if Shinzo and Cylinder bring their A game, I don't know.
I just had to take the 11-1.
I won't get that about him again.
Yeah, I think there's something special about him. I think he's going to be there in the top three. I think Shinzo is a special horse as well. I think, as I said, did his connections. He did him proud, running, what was it, 2 or 3 lengths, 3.5 lengths beaten by Think About It, and got poleaxed. Didn't really get out. Cylinder is a free running type, was up there on the speed, was up there competing for it, got run over the last little bit, only beaten a length, kept running hard to the line. It was a pretty decent run. Ran third to Militarise in the Golden Rose, won the lead up to that. Good horse.
What I mean. Like, you look at these top two and you go, well, they're running against things that we claim to be our new kids on the block, the new best. And like I said, I like Stepardi, but I haven't seen him do it against the likes of these yet. So this is going to be his biggest acid test. And I know the D would be arguing with me right now. He'd be flipping his coin. But
it's just tough. Look, I honestly think the whips are going to be cracking in this. That there'll be speed in the race, all across the track.
There will be.
But I think he's tough, mate. Like, he's just got a horse that wants to win.
You know, I settled on Shinzo. You're right. You go.
Even in that Guineas, when he looked beaten from Griff and V8, which were in front of him, it looked to me before Griff ran out on V8. You can call it V8, I'll call it V8. You know what we're talking about. It looked like he was going to go past V8. Like, he just had not shirked the task one bit. I just like this horse. The other one that I think Don Corleone is at big odds can run on.
I was just about to get to that because I put that into my picks last week, was it?
Yeah.
And it sat 3 wide the entire trip. And I thought, you're putting it around at $67. It opened at 34 and no one has been bothered to even back it. So I think I'm going to put a sneaky 5 each one. Yeah, I didn't put it in my tips, but it's $67.14 the place.
King's Gambit's the one I'm really worried about as well. So if I was looking at if I was putting on a first 4 and boxing 4 or 5 horses, I'd have the top 2, and I'd be throwing in Don Corleone, King's Gambit, and Stepardi.
Well, you go to Don Corleone, 4 starts back, he ran 7th, only beaten 1.4 lengths to Cylinder at Rosehill. And then militarised the start after that.
I hope he's riding with confidence too.
Yeah, so I just don't understand why it's $67. I know the field's a good field, like there's good horses there, but why is he like 67? Why? And Moravia's like $16, who's had 4 starts, you know? Yeah, I don't get it. Again, that's ran the Cylinder and militarised too, but yeah, probably the GOAT factor being his last season before retirement.
But I think there'll be a couple of surprises that'll come in this race. Probably got to move on with it. We've been rattling on for a fair bit. We've got the Derby up next. I'm now the little D Energy's gone with number 5 Sunsets.
He has
15-1.
It's one of the ones that I got on when it ran the Riff Rocket. I was on it that day. I think he even tipped it.
That was too.
It is. I went with Apulia, who I replaced in my place multi last week, and come out and won that race, and I was pretty impressed with the way it won it.
It looked, that was a very impressive win by Apulia.
It was.
And I think the second horse is quite good, Verdad. I'm pretty sure it led up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and then it got chased down. But I don't know much about Justify, the USA staying, the side of a dad. But Apulia, his dad, Fiorente, needs no introductions. Won a Melbourne Cup.
Same sire as our recently retired Luna Flare. So
yeah, so I don't think getting the distance should be a problem for it. Riff Rocket, he's probably a danger in the race, but he's been shown he can get upset too. And American Pharaoh, I usually relate to dirt only because of our game. Go Viva. But Riff Rocket, when will you see 220 about him again at the moment? Like, there's been no money for him. 180 out to 220. If I was going to back a favourite, I'd probably lean towards him, but I just don't think he gets the 2,500. I've got to go with one that has the proven father for it.
I've gone for a $30 first 4, boxing 5 horses for 25%. And I've gone the numbers 1, 2, 4, 7, and 10. So those numbers are Apulia, Verdad, Riff Rocket, Gold Bullion is at 34-1. Was pretty short in the market last week. Wasn't expected to beat Riff Rocket, but was expected to compete. Dropped out at Caulfield, but it did win at Flemington, beating Sunsets over 1,800. So getting back to Flemington, probably not sure whether they're going to go forward or back, but you'd expect it to be up on the pace. And the other one I've thrown in is Bulawayo. Pat Carey knows how to train a stayer. Another one that's out of Fiorente. I think it's one that's going to be running on into 3rd or 4th late.
Was in that race behind Apulia?
It ran on. It was beaten. Look, it was coming from well back, and it sort of fought to the line with one that I've left out, Air Assault, from the horse from Morfordville. So it battled on and pulled away a bit from Bulawayo, who was coming at it. But I don't know. You generally find over this Derby there is something there that at big odds it usually runs on.
Well, a lot of them are untried at the distance, aren't they? So, and that's why you find roughies will get up in the race because you just don't know how they're going to go over that distance. Can be a race that wrecks a lot of horses too, that never are the same again once they've done the derby.
Yeah, which is one of the sad things that comes out of it. There's I thought that was a fair first four to go with. Worried about Air Assault and Sunsets in that, but I'm just not sure if Sunsets I think's got the brilliance. I just don't know if it's going to stay 2,500 meters. But look, they've put the miles in its legs. They've given it every chance. They've done all the right stuff with it, and it's going to have its crack at a derby. So, and
it's got the right sire.
They've there's a Moody horse out of Frankel and Bellwether, so bred completely in England, running in our derby. It's then brought over to Australia. They've gradually put it up in distance. Third to Sunsets.
Yeah, you're talking about Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a shortener into $11.
It is, but like we've said, distances can be the undoing of a lot of these young horses in the derby, and it's progressively stepped up. Yeah, I know. It's just got to go that extra 500. It's a definite chance, but has it run enough?
We move on to the Empire Rose. I've gone $10 each way on number 16, More Secrets, and I've also gone 25 the win on number 4, A Tissue.
Yeah, and I'm on a little roughy here. I think I put in for 10 each way, Barbie's Fox.
Hayes.
Yeah, it's having a good campaign. It ran fourth in the Epsom, and then only last month, second to Wish All Lass, which was hard done by. Should have won that race. I was on it that day too, at 480.
Yeah.
Definitely get a good run for your money. Maybe hold off a little. Yeah, maybe hold off a little because it might blow out a little bit more yet, as people seem to be coming for a few other things in the market. But yeah, definitely worth a little spotter each way just to have an interest in the race, and you'll definitely get a good run for your money.
It's that type of race where you do get horses pop up. I really like Wishful Lass. It's another winner. It's ran fifth over the same distance at Flemington in a benchmark 84, which is a long way off this. Beat Barbie's Fox at Caulfield and then backed up again and beat Philosophiel over at Mooney Valley carrying weight. So it's definitely one that'll be tough to beat. $8.50 is probably the right mark for it. But there's all these consistent horses as you get in these great mare races. Pride of Jenny, the Knowledge, I think it's one first up, one last up. The previous campaign, Hinged has often been in the market in a lot of races that it runs in, and it's run in some big races.
And with the Knowledge at $51, and the fact that you pointed that out, like it could be another roughie that could bob up too. Like it's third to Amelia's Jewel, 2 starts back, and then 6th to Alligator Blood, which needs no introduction.
Well, it went really hard in that too.
It's definitely one for the radar. Only 7 lengths beaten. Back to this kind of grade, there's no Alligator Blood here. No vow and declare, no Jaws.
And look, the top 4, 5, 6 here are all class mares, alcohol free. I think she's an American horse. Well, no, she's from England. She's running some big races in England.
American bred, but
yeah. But fourth to Espiona. Espiona was absolutely poledex in the Everest, and then won last week like we thought it would. So she's running the Everest. She's run then fourth to Espiona in the mares race last week. She's got to be given a chance. She's a class mare. Princess Grace is just another import that's just absolutely competitive every race that it goes in. Hope in Your Heart's always running on. Has started favourite in Epsoms and stuff like that. Another good horse. Going to get a good run from Barrier 1. And a Tissue. The win last year was phenomenal in one of the big races at Randwick, I think.
And your top four have all run to Alligator Blood. Your top four have all run to Alligator Blood, Mr. Brightside, Fangirl. There's a couple there run to Fangirl in that top four horses there. So, and that's why they're in the market. Obviously, they've run to the good horses, but again, I think tomorrow's just a day of very open racing and anything can happen. So, yeah.
I mean, she ran a Tissue won the Queen of the Turf, which was a huge win. She beat Hope in Your Heart and More Secrets. She's been something happened at Durman, which was disqualified or something. Sort of second in the Golden Pendant behind Espiona, and then ran second last in the King Charles behind Fangirl. Just running in better races, as you were saying.
But still only beaten 6 lengths by Fangirl, who unlucky in the Cox Plate. And the day Fangirl won, I was on it to beat Mr. Brightside. They were then backed against in the Cox Plate. Like I said, just the top four. And that's why they're picked by everybody, because they've run to the good things. The rest down below, not so much. But anything can happen.
I've gone each one More Secrets at $21, and it's got a good barrier. Damien Oliver's on board. John Hawkes, well, the Hawkes family trains it, but it's just so consistent. Its last 5 runs hasn't finished further back than 5th. And
the 5th was to Espiona.
There you go, and a Tissue. So it ran 3rd in the Point of the Turf, 5th over 1500, and she's a mare's grade group runner, like most of these horses are. It's one of the toughest races to pick, so that's why we've gone with something with a little bit more. You've gone Barty's Fox. I've gone More Secrets. All the big odds.
Little bit of value, mate.
Yeah.
What's the worst? Those you could take those top 4. You could put $10 on all of them and still make, because they're all 6 and 6.5 to 1, so you can still make some money. But you could take them 4 and then put 5 each way on yours and mine, and still come out even if the top 4 win and make a profit if the other 2 win. But if anything else wins, well, flush your money down the toilet.
The last race is the Damien Oliver, the 1400 metre race. You've gone on Here to Shock. You've got a lot of Hayes horses out of Shocking, which we'll talk about before. 6 starts the track for Unplaced, but it's over the distance, 4 wins from 9. Has beaten some classy fields before, but has struggled in Melbourne.
Has struggled. But I look to what it's run, and 4 starts ago at Flemington at Randall, It's Our Time, and Umagawa, who I've tipped It's Our Time. We both said not a bad horse down the straight. Second to Devoted, who was starting to look like, well, to me, has started to look like a good horse, but it's just tampered off a little bit over its last few runs because it's met a few good things.
He gave Devoted 9 kilos in that too. It was only beating a length.
He did. And then he ran second to Antino. Antino had more weight. He's entitled to run him down, but then Antino stepped out the next start and got beaten by attrition. And I think in that race he never got out here to shock when he got the 13th. I rule a line through that. So the 0 was just non-existent there to me. But going off his last couple, he's been around the mark.
I think they're going to be calling this horse at the 200 metres in the race, whether he's running on to finish in the finish or if he's thereabouts. I think he's going to be thereabouts and he's going to be a chance. A lot of good horses in this race. Even I like Colino. If I'm going to hold off on a bet on this, I backed Ayrton last start because you back Ayrton first up. Mm-hmm. Second up, not so good. And I don't think it's the same horse that it was. King Magnus at big odds likes to run a good race in a race like this. Valana has a lot of class.
All the GOAT fans will be on Valana, looking for him to take out his own race named in his honour.
Probably on the classiest horse.
Tamerlane, not impressed with those. Yeah, okay, it won last start. But yeah, it doesn't impress me much. I don't think it's going to be. It's up against it in this field. Yeah.
Tamerlane ran 5th in, I think, the lead up to the Epsom behind Redina. Yeah.
But it came out last start and it was
right class of race.
It was entitled to win by more in its last race. And this is where we get probably in an argument, me and the Big D. But I think it was entitled to win by more than the 1.8 that it won by, in a field of that caliber. I know it was an open race, but yeah, I just think it was entitled to do a 3 or 4 length gap job, not 1.8. And then coming up against the likes of Valana and Here to Shock and a few of the others, I think it's going to be pushing a little bit uphill. I don't think I can have it as a $4.40 favourite. I think it's more a $7 or $8 chance.
Yeah, this is just one of those races going to be very hard to find a first 4 or something like that, but I think you can get a winner here at really good odds. So that's Melbourne. We'll have a quick look at a couple of races in Sydney, and then we'll have to get going. I think we've been.
No, we've been blabbering on for an hour and 12 minutes, but that's all right. Our devoted people will listen to us. Yeah, so where are we going to go in Sydney?
If they want to win, they need to listen. So in Sydney, I've gone race 7. We'll look at that first because I'm in control.
Yeah, well, just don't forget.
I've gone a Quinella here. No surprise. I've gone the winner of the Everest and the 3rd place getter of the Everest, who won this race last year in Private Eye. Don't know what. Probably going to get odds of about 3-1, 4-1 for the Quinella. There's a horse that worries me a lot, though, in this race, and it's all to do with the speed, man. Cole Crusher. He has this ability at big odds to lead him up and just keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting and being there in the last few meters. But you just expect with this quality field, it's going to be too much for him. But yeah, he's one that I think could put my Quinella in danger. But yeah, Private Eye, it's running at its best form. Joe Pride's got it going at brilliantly, and think about it, owned in the same interests. Just loves to win.
Does love to win, only just falls in.
And Cascadian flying down the outside like it usually does, but I don't think it's going to be able to beat these two over 1,300.
It won the Everest, but yeah, at what cost that run on the Everest to run in this race? Like, Private Eye in that same Everest race, 3 wide the trip, huge run, huge. It was entitled to not be there after that run, and it still almost beat its stablemate.
I backed Private Eye over 1,000 metres. Remember this horse? So it was going to be a miler, and they brought it back to the sprints.
It can do it both. Private Eye can do both.
Well, they brought it. He's like, no, I'm going to run him in the Everest, and he won carried like 3 kilos more than anything else over the straight at Flemington.
But remember, that's his second Everest. He was in the first Everest he ran, and Giga Kick won it.
He ran second.
Yeah, and he was charging home with Giga Kick.
I backed him in that Everest to beat. I actually backed him to win that Everest.
I was like Giga Kick. That's the big D. He wasn't real happy. But I wasn't on the winner this year. Think about it. I didn't even look at him, to be honest. And he had the picket fences to prove I should be. But I was on Private Eye only because I thought, well, it should be his year this year. But again, can't help being stuck 3 wide. Got nothing against Nash, but he's on it again. That concerns me. He's the one that killed it in the Everest. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Equinella is safe. If it rains, like they're predicting showers on the day, I don't think it's going to do too much to the track. But if it does do a little inkling of something to it, if it was wet, I'd be on Marzu all day.
Well, I'll tell you another horse that loves the wet though, Private Eye. Not quite as good as Marzu in it, but it still runs through it. Bella Nipotina doesn't mind it either. It loves it heavy.
Well, she's always the bridesmaid, always underrated, Bella Nipotina. If you remember, she won a Manicato, was it last year or the year before?
She's got 3 sets of boobs, It's 3.
Yeah, she's always there. She's rarely runs a bad race. Like, yeah, she's got a 0 and 6 in her form from her last 10, but you look at everything else, it's thirds and a second.
I think Marzu is going better than what they think. It had that setback, which meant it was never going to be wound up for the Everest, and it actually got poleaxed and was getting itself into the race, competing, trying to win. So it's nothing as far as its competitiveness, and it's another
the track.
One.
It doesn't really like the firm surface, like the soft and the heavy. Like the easier underfoot for Marzu, the better.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm off him when they're good tracks. But I tell you what, at the moment there's a bit of wet down there. I'll be all over.
I got that Cronulla for $25 on 1 and 4, so hopefully we're getting between $75 and $100.
I think you're safe on that. I've just got Private Eye for a place in my place multi. I couldn't decide on a winner because I think there's like 4 good chances there, possibly 5.
We've also got in that multi. We won't have a big look at the race, but we've got Robusto for the place at $3.10, the top weight in race 5, and also at Eagle Farm race 3. Russo for the place at $1.65 looks a really good chance. Go Wanji.
Interesting story on that horse. He's been out for 15 months. He got throat surgery. And then he had to get a second operation to save his life with the throat surgery again. They didn't think he was going to get back to racing. He's been in work for the last 8 months or so, just doing jump outs and trials. Was going to be a really good horse, and coming back to a race like that, I think he's really good value. I'd probably even have him from a win bet, but I just decided to just stick him in my multi.
Race 8, the Golden Eagle, big race. You've gone with Golden Mile, and I'll tell you what, he's got the outside gate. Zach Lloyd's in form, but against his own age group, this horse has wins on the board.
Yeah, and don't let the
in any
price
class.
scare anybody. Like
Don't
$41
know
bucks.
how. Yeah, I don't know how he's at $41.
I don't either. And like, if you remember last season or the season before, as a 2 and 3-year-old, he was running to very good horses and taking the world, Australia by storm.
Didn't he win the golden?
Yeah, I think he won a Golden Eagle. I'm pretty sure.
Or not the eagle,
Or was it the Rose?
the gold. I think he won the rose, golden
Might have been the
rose.
Rose.
Let's have the ability.
Yeah. It's
He's
just.
fast in a Doncaster. He's won a Theo Marks, third in the Epsom.
Yeah. Which was
Fourth
behind
in Canterbury Stakes,
Daine.
which was behind Artorias, Imperatriz, and the Electric Girl.
Imperatriz, what did that do on the weekend? You know, like, and Fangirl. It's run to Fangirl and Brightside and Zaki. I just can't believe it's going around at $41 against its own age group.
Yeah. It's won 1.7. Oh, no, that's a Hawaii 50. It's won $3 million, this horse, Golden Mile.
Yeah, and it's only 6 lengths beating the Fangirl and Brightside in the King Charles.
Wins on a good track, wins on a soft track. Distance, one start.
For nothing. That's the worry. But at the track, it doesn't mind the track.
It's 1500.
Yeah.
It's won over. It's run third in a 1600-meter race. So
Yeah, the distance won't be a problem for it. It's just that's why I ignored the stat. But it's just like I just didn't understand why it came out at that price against its age group after what it's been running to. Just weird.
yeah, it's definitely a good chance. People are going to Hawaii 50 because of its Everest run. I like what have I backed? Back something. Kovalika 30 the win at $10. I think Kovalika is going to. I've just got a feeling it's going to be a horse that goes on to bigger and better things. Osipenko is a really good horse as well. Amelia's Jewels in this race I didn't like last start, but we'll see how she goes the Sydney way. But yeah, I've got this. Radina is going to be there on the pace at 40 to 1 with Kathy O'Hara is in great form. But I think this horse here, Kovalika, is going to be one of Waller's prime performers moving forward.
And didn't Kovalika run up here in Brizzy during the Winter Carnival?
Let me have a look.
Pretty sure it did.
Yeah, it won the Queensland Derby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, very underrated horse.
Third in the Doomben Cup, won the Queensland Guineas. Third in the South Pacific race. So it's got group form all over. It's a Group 1 winner. Second in the Epsom.
Not out of it.
Second in the Epsom. Fifth in the King Charles behind Fangirl, Mr. Brightside and My Oberon.
Yeah, Golden Mile and it were finishing off together, I believe, in the King Charles. Kovalika obviously doing slightly the better.
Both are drawn out. I expect Golden Mile's going to push forward. Kovalika is going to be running on. Pericles will settle up there. Hawaii 50 is going to settle probably a bit closer than normal. It'll be looking a winning chance, but I think Kovalika is going to be going boom over the top of them.
Well, according to my speed map, I reckon Radina and Golden Mile are going to be the ones fighting out for the front with where's it saying yours was going to be placed? About midfield. There's a few there that want to be there. Yeah, could it get trapped wide? So does Golden Mile run that chance of being trapped wide? Like you said, Redina, Epsom winner. 40.
I think
40.
Amelia's Jewel, I've gone off her on that run, but she's drawn to get a perfect run off the speed. Pericles, Redina, Hawaii 5 will all be up there. And you'll have Communist comes across, New Endeavour, according to the speed map, doesn't always work across that.
No.
And I think Golden Mile's going to have to push across. But he might settle back a little bit further.
He might do. He can do it either way. But with Amelia's Jewel, yeah, and people are going to hate me for saying this. I don't think she's as special as people make out of her to be. Yes, she is a good runner. But she's come over here. She might have won in Melbourne, but she hasn't really competed against the best of the best we've got. And this field, again, is not really the best, but there is some there that's won, like Daine, who's won an Epsom, you've got Golden Mile, you've got Kovalika. They've all won the Group 1s over here in the east, where this horse is one in the west.
Yeah.
And it's used to running anti-clockwise. How's it going to handle clockwise this time?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about it. Look, it's trying to get the run.
Worry.
People who love the horse have got to put trust in it. But I'm going to go. I think there'll be enough jostling for positions. There'll be enough speed in this race that it's going to set it up for something to finish off over the top of them. And in Kovalika, I think it's the horse that can do it. And at 10-1, I was willing to take the risk.
Sneaky watching. So that's all about tips.
Or did you have another one?
Yeah, no, I didn't have another one, but sneaky watching was a panko. Yeah, I had one more. Race 9 was Diamond.
Oh, Daine.
Yes. Yeah.
Good race, this.
It is, and anything can win it. But that Canberra Legend, that's, again, another overseas horse.
Out of Australia, the Cox Plate.
Yeah. But I don't know how it'll handle here. It's not going to be hot, and I've said about all these internationals, the weather. Some of them are proving me wrong. They're adapting to Australia and loving it. Why wouldn't they? Best country in the world. Diamond. Yeah, look at its run last start at Caulfield behind Mamasa. Wasn't a bad run, and hasn't done much at Randwick, but it ran to Redina and Kovalika, which we were just talking about. Think It Over. It's run to Think It Over as well. Yeah. I think it's a sneaky chance at 750, and that's why I thought we could throw 30 on it. And you never know, we might be clutching at straws by the end of the day and needing that one to get us over the line.
I think this English horse is way under the odds, but we'll see. There's a lot of horses that can produce a big run. Stockman was pretty disappointing last start. It seems to have struggled since it ran in the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, with Stockman, he needs distance. The further it goes, the better. I just don't think he gets time to wind up.
You expect it goes all right in the wet too. So it prefers to sting out of the ground. In saying that, it's had some wet tracks in races that's been really short and disappointed too. So Skylab's another one at odds that tends to run a big race. I think Diamel's a good price. I think it's the right price. Interesting race. We'll all be trying to get out. And then you've got race 10 as well, which has another tough race to look at. But I think we've covered it all up for the weekend there, Mr. Masked Punter.
We have, and hopefully we come up with a bit of cash in our pockets and see who takes the front by the end of Saturday afternoon.
I don't know, it looks like my screen's frozen a bit. So maybe it's struggling.
I think it is struggling. You've got a little
struggling with my big head. Look, I've come close.
Going
struggling
back.
to keep up.
But I'm not seeing that white aura around you now that we had before we started the podcast. Like that angel aura. Oh no, there it is. It's there now. But you're still in slow-mo.
I'm going to ride Lonro. Can you see that happening, or is it in slow-mo still?
No, it's in slow-mo. Everyone will see you in slow-mo. Hopefully that's not how your horses are going to go on the weekend, mate.
No. Well, hopefully where we cross over, one wins, the other one gets an each way bet or whatever, or the place multi's always good. Hopefully
as long as people are following us and we get the place or the win up from, I'm really excited about that place multi. I don't get very many multis. I'll be honest with everybody. I usually miss one leg, which I kind of think I did last week, one or two. But this one I'm a little bit excited about, and it came out at $60. Like,
that's all right.
We'll take that. Give us the cash.
Cheap $20 on that, eh?
Yes, give us the cash.
What's that win you? 1,200.
I think. I think I put 30 on it, didn't I? Oh no, I put 20 on it. Yeah, I put 20 on it for 1,200. I went one step further and I put 25 on it for myself because I'm greedy. But
all right, mate. Well, it's great chatting to you.
You too. Best of luck, everybody. Hope you get a winner, and we'll be talking again on Sunday.
We'll go through the Melbourne Cup field on Sunday and give you about 23 chances that can win the race, I'm sure, out of the 24. I'm sure we're going to like every horse in the race.
Probably going to. Yeah.
It's about who you can rule out in the Melbourne Cup, isn't it?
Exactly, but for me and the Big D, we're looking at, this is the year for Melbourne Cup for the quaddie, so we're looking at fielding Melbourne Cup. We may even field the other legs and just pick a couple each, but $1 million quaddie this year, $1 million quaddie.
We're having a good short price favourite in Vauban and lots of other. We might get something at big odds. You never know.
Well, what happened to the short price favourite last year? And was it Deauville Legend? Yeah. Very good track record.
Everyone thought they'd won.
Well, I thought I'd won. I got the $101 special promo.
Me too.
Should have took the $150 they offered me before the race to cash out. Oh well, them's the breaks.
Yeah, they were worried about that, eh? Weren't they?
They were. They were very worried. Yeah, better, and I already stung them on the Cox plate with Animo. So. Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks for the chat. Let's keep it going, and we'll talk again on Sunday.
Alrighty, have a good weekend, everybody.
Take care, everyone.